So with no new episode of Diamond this week, I wanted to take some time to explain and discuss Vegeta's Super Saiyan 3 transformation. Because since this happened, there's been a lot of discussion in the fandom. I've been really surprised at some of the reactions. I expected the standard reactions about, oh, well, Diamond's not canon from that group, and I'll be diving into that. But then I also had some other reactions that were a little bit surprising. So, first and foremost, I want to talk about the fact that obviously this is a retcon. This is the very definition of retroactive continuity. Because Dragon Ball is done. Toriyama's 42-volume manga is complete, and it was completed years ago. While Dragon Ball Super is technically still going on, it takes place after the events of Daima. We don't know where Daima is going story-wise, but we know that by the end, everything should align with the status quo that was in place before Dragon Ball Super started. So yes, this is a retcon. However, again, there's nothing wrong with it being a retcon. Retcons are how we got tons of different things in Dragon Ball. And just because it's a retcon does not mean things don't make sense or things are no longer canon, blah, blah, blah. Toriyama was always a discovery writer. And the very nature of that process would lead him to retconning things over the years. Sometimes he added additional information. Sometimes he expanded on ideas or even reinterpreted plot points or situations. The idea that Vegeta always had Super Saiyan 3 during some events that we'll be discussing, in the grand scheme of things, changes nothing. It doesn't make Goku any less special during the Buu arc. If anything, Gotenks having Super Saiyan 3 did that. Nor does it undermine Vegeta's speech about Goku during the fight against Majin Buu. All it does is show that Vegeta continued to work hard, which we already knew from Dragon Ball Super, which we already knew from Toriyama's updated ending to Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta was not going to stop trying to beat Goku. What changed was his reason for wanting to beat Goku. It was no longer about proving that he was superior. It was about measuring himself. Vegeta wanted to use Goku as a measuring stick to show that not only he was a better fighter, but he would become a better person. So then going to the fact that people complain that, well, Vegeta, if he had Super Saiyan 3, why didn't he use it against Beerus? Well, he didn't use Super Saiyan 2 against Beerus either. When you look at the clip, he's Super Saiyan 1. Also, when Goku explodes after fighting Beerus, and he's super angry, what happens to Goku? He goes Super Saiyan 1. Why doesn't he go Super Saiyan 3? Just because the character is enraged doesn't mean they're going to automatically go Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 1, as well as Gohan with Super Saiyan 2 and Beast, are pretty much the only times that we've seen anger directly contribute to the automatic transforming into a form. So now let's talk a little bit about Super Saiyan 3. For the longest time, before the Dragon Ball Renaissance with Battle of Gods and Dragon Ball Super, Super Saiyan 3 was Goku's ultimate form. It was the final form that Toriyama himself had created and had given Goku throughout the series. So because of that, a lot of people thought that Vegeta was not going to be able to match that. Part of that because they misinterpreted the final speech about Goku during the Buu saga. But then also, as the series continued in the anime form with GT, Vegeta never used Super Saiyan 3. However, even that's a little bit debatable and has been for a while, which is kind of funny that no one really picked up on that and that hasn't come back in the conversation since this transformation was revealed. And I say that because in Dragon Ball GT, if you look at the character of Super Baby, When Baby takes over Vegeta's body, he has three forms. The first form, he just has, it looks like Vegeta's Super Saiyan with silver hair and some eye markings on his face. His next form adds some gold plates to his arms, and his hair is, while still looking like Super Saiyan, but silver, is a little bit spikier. And then the final form, his hair grows out, it's longer, not typical Super Saiyan 3 length, and if we're being honest, not as long as the Super Saiyan 3 that's been revealed now in Daima, but it's definitely longer than the Super Saiyan 2. It leans forward, and Baby has no eyebrows, which is obviously a Super Saiyan 3 characteristic. And the GT Perfect File guidebook even plays with the idea that this form could be a mutated version of Super Saiyan 3. And if that was the case, that would again suggest that Vegeta had Super Saiyan 3, he just didn't use it. Going off from that, we wouldn't see Vegeta actually gain Super Saiyan 3 in any type of media until it first appeared in the video game Dragon Ball Raging Blast, where it was a special, secret character. It might have been a pre-order character, I can't remember. But Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, they also had Super Saiyan 3 Broly. And then from there, it appeared in Dragon Ball Heroes and whatnot. But the idea was always out there that Vegeta was capable of it, potentially. Now, of course, there were some fan theories on why he didn't have it. The main one being, you can only earn Super Saiyan 3 when you're dead. Which is funny because, Gotenks was alive when he did it. So then they say, dead as in you have to be in the afterlife or another dimension. I guess they were watching too much of the old Ocean dub. So I've seen that theory. And then, of course, the main idea that most people believe, which to me makes the most sense, which is what I think we're probably going to see in Daima once we allow the show to finish out, is the idea that Vegeta had the form and just didn't use it. We know from Dragon Ball Z as well as Dragon Ball Super that if a form has a apparent weakness, there's a good chance that Vegeta won't use it, especially if there's something better for him to use. He used Grade 2, and he knew about Grade 3, but did not use it because it wasn't worth it. Later on, in Dragon Ball Super, there was the debate about Super Saiyan God. Because in the anime, we only ever saw Vegeta use Super Saiyan Blue into the Broly movie. However, the manga had shown him using Super Saiyan God. So the question was always like, well, why isn't he using Super Saiyan God? And the whole thing was, he doesn't need to because he has Super Saiyan Blue. And even in the anime, even in the manga, when he did use Super Saiyan God, he had a purpose because for that fight, the abilities of God was going to help him better than Blue, which is why he used it. So, of course, this causes some reinterpretation of lines like, of course, when Vegeta's training with Trunks and Trunks is like, show me your Super Saiyan 3, and Vegeta laughs and goes Super Saiyan Blue instead. Well, we see why he did it. He went to show Trunks the true power of a Saiyan. Same thing he did with Kaba. Because if you remember when he fought Kaba in the Universe 6 tournament, he started off as Super Saiyan, and then he powered up to Super Saiyan Blue to give Kaba something to strive for. So, Vegeta skipping over forms or not using forms that he deems useless is not uncommon. And again, Daima is still going on. I know a lot of times when it comes to series that are interquels or prequels, some people don't like them because they think that there is no tension. They're like, because of the idea we know how it's going to end. Well, sometimes in storytelling, this actual story is just as important, if not more so, than the ending. One of my favorite series all time is Lost. And in the 4th season of Lost, we know how it's going to end. It's going to end with a set of characters in a certain situation. However, the tension is all around how do those characters get to those points, because they're all at different spots and they all have these different major things going on, and then eventually they get there. So for the people who, again, are shouting, oh, Diamond's not canon, blah, 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 let it play out. Because for all we know, something could happen in the Demon Realm with Vegeta using Super Saiyan 3 that makes him decide this form is useless. I'm going to stick with Super Saiyan 2. Maybe that will happen. We don't know. It could be blatant, and it may not happen, which is okay. Because even if it doesn't happen, the idea is he obviously felt that Super Saiyan 2 was a better option, which lines up with the statements that Toriyama had made when he was first working on Dragon Ball Super about the idea that the versions of Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3 were unlikely to be seen going forward because Super Saiyan 1 was the main form and those were essentially just powered up versions. So, with that said, those are my thoughts on Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. I love the form. I'm excited that Vegeta has it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Daima does going forward. So sound off in the comments below with your thoughts on the form and how you're enjoying Daima, and I'll catch you on the next one.